What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video and to the channel. So right now I am about to attempt to recharge my air conditioning system in my 2009 BMW E90 328i. Lately the air conditioning in this car has not really been blowing the coldest air like it once did. It's not blowing, like hot air, it's just blowing like kind of cold air, and it's not really helping right now with it being, pretty hot here in San Diego. As you guys can see on my face, I'm pretty sweaty right now in my garage. It's like 80 degrees, 85 degrees. Now I know it's not the hottest temperature like other parts of the country and other parts of the world. It's like 100 plus degrees. But for me, this is pretty hot. So I've been using my air conditioning more frequently, and that's how I've been noticing that it's not really been blowing the coldest air like it once used to, and I feel like it should be. Like the air conditioning in my F30 blows super cold air when it's on the lowest setting, even on max. And like it's definitely helped with cooling the inside of the car when it's hot like it is right now. But the air conditioning in my E90, like I said, hasn't really been blowing like cold air like the F30. So maybe it just needs more refrigerant, a little recharge. So I've been looking into this little procedure you can do to recharge the air conditioning system with more refrigerant. And I've been looking on some forums and other YouTube videos, and I'm gonna try it myself, and I wanted to show you guys my experience and let you guys know if it works or not. So yeah, it's pretty simple, so let's go ahead and get started here. So I went ahead and got a new can of R-134A refrigerant along with a pressure gauge here. I got these from Walmart for about $52, and I got this refrigerant specifically because it doesn't have any additives. Most of the other refrigerant canisters that also had like a gauge already attached on it had like additives that help like seal leaks and stuff, and from what I was saying, it was recommended to not get that refrigerant. But it seems like that's the one that's most common, but this was the only one I found that didn't say it had like leak sealer or anything like that. It just said this, just refrigerant, and it didn't come with a gauge, so that's why I got this one. I believe this is a Easy Seal branded gauge, but it is compatible with this can. It's compatible with, they described it as like sealed or non-sealed, like caps here, or like connection points. So yeah, these are the two most important things to do the recharge on the air conditioning system. So let me go ahead and open up the hood. So the point at which you are going to send the refrigerant into the air conditioning system is at this point here, which is the low pressure point. It's important, from what I was seeing, to do it at the low pressure point, not the high pressure point. I believe this one is the high pressure point, and it's a little bit bigger from what I can tell than the low pressure point. So I mean, if you get a gauge that only fits on the low pressure point, you shouldn't have that mistake of accidentally using the high pressure point. But yeah, at this point here, we're going to connect the gauge, and then that's where we're going to send the refrigerant from the new can into the system. So yeah, I just wanted to point that out to you guys before I just get started here to give you guys a little bit of context. So I'm going to go ahead and connect the pressure gauge to the new bottle of refrigerant. It connects at this point here with the lever. Let's go ahead and just simply twist that on. Alright, that should be good there. So I'm back inside the car here, and the first thing I'm going to do to start this procedure is turn the car on. Then I'm going to go ahead and turn the AC on to the max setting on cold. This is all the way to the left here on cold, front facing. So the car is blowing actually pretty warm air right now. It's not really cold at all. Like it feels worse than what it's been doing before. I don't know if it's just because it's on max. I've never really had the air on max. But yeah, right now it is blowing pretty warm air. Anyway, so now that the AC is on max, I'm gonna let the car run like this with the AC on in this setting for about 5 minutes. And then I'm gonna move on to actually putting in the new refrigerants into the system. So while I'm waiting for the car to just be running with the AC on for 5 minutes, I figured I'd go ahead and look at the directions here, the instructions that actually come on the can. I already did the first step, which was turn the AC on full blast. and let it run for 5 minutes. The next step obviously says to connect the pressure gauge, this point here, to the low pressure point on the system, which I already showed you guys. Once it's connected, you then press this lever here up top and it'll release the refrigerant into the system. And it says while charging or while holding the lever down, continuously rotate the can from 12 o'clock to 3 o'clock every 2 to 3 seconds. So like this. And then it also says to continuously agitate or shake the can back and forth while doing the 12 to 3 o'clock. So I'm assuming like this maybe, I don't know. So we're gonna go ahead and do that since it says to do that in the instructions here. And we're gonna do that until it says filled, or the arrow is in the middle of the filled green section there on the gauge. So like around 30, 40. The system should be good, and that's when we're going to go ahead and release the lever here and disconnect the quick disconnect here with the point on the AC system. And then we're going to go ahead and check to see if the AC is blowing cold air. So it's been about 5 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and start charging the system. Before you start charging the system, just make sure to shake the can for like 30 seconds. It does say shake well in the instructions, so just make sure you do that before you start this. So I'm gonna go ahead and start this now. So you can see on the gauge there, it is on the low side over here, on the white section. That means it is low, so let's go ahead and charge this up. It's already on the filled area, right in the middle, and I didn't hold it down for that long, maybe like 10 seconds. Alright, so the air conditioning is now blowing pretty cold air compared to what it was blowing when I first turned on the system here before the recharge. So it appears to have worked on some level. I wouldn't say it's like, you know, ice cold, but it is definitely pretty cold now. It doesn't feel, you know, like warm like it did, or like kind of cold. It feels like cold. Like this definitely feels a lot better and is actually contributing to cooling off the inside of the car here. Yeah, that definitely feels so much better. I wish I had like a temperature gauge to like show you guys that it actually is colder. Alright, so it appears to have worked, the quick little recharge that I did, because it was pretty quick. I only held it down for like 30 seconds at most. The first period of recharging, I only held it down for like 10 seconds before the gauge quickly went up to filled. So it recharged pretty quickly on mine for some reason. I feel like it wasn't like super low, since like I said, for the most part it was still blowing like kind of cold air, just not like super cold like it is now. So I guess it just depends how low it is in the system. For me, I guess it wasn't that low. But here, let me show you guys on the gauge here. I feel like it was kind of hard to see when I was doing it in the engine bay, but taking a look at the gauge here. So it started here, and as soon as I pressed the lever down, it went here, and then it was charging, starting to go back this way, and then once I let go of the lever, the arrow was already like in between 30 and 40 here. It's kind of hard to see on camera. So it was in between 30 and 40. And then that was only after like maybe like 8 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds. It was not that long at all. And then I went ahead and checked the how the air conditioning felt, and it started to feel colder, but not like super cold. So I held it down, I held the lever down for another like 5-10 seconds, and then I let go because it was already like kind of over here, like a little bit past 40 when I stopped. And then I felt the AC again, and that's when it was like pretty cold. Like it was a lot colder than what it was when I first turned the system on. So yeah, for me, I only had to hold it down for like 30 seconds max. It does say to hold it down for like 5 to 15 minutes on the instructions here, but for me, I think that would have been way too much for the system. So this recharging procedure appears to have worked for, you know, getting the AC to be colder on my BMW here, my E90. I don't know if it's just, you know, for a short period of time or if it's going to go back to being warm again. So I do want to give you guys an update after like a few weeks or maybe like a month, maybe not a month because that's kind of too long before I can post this video, but I do want to give you some sort of an update after like a couple weeks to let you guys know if it's still cold or if it ended up going back to being warm. And I guess that would indicate that there's a pretty bad leak in my air conditioning system somewhere. But like I said, it wasn't like warm air, like hot air most of the time. Most of the time it was just like kind of cold air, but not really cold enough to make a difference now that it's really hot. As you guys can see, I'm like sweating here because it's really hot without this AC on. But yeah, from here I will get back with you guys in a few weeks and then give you guys an update on if the AC is still cold. Alright, so it's been about 2 weeks since I did the initial recharge of the system, and the air conditioning still is blowing very cold air. I think it may have actually even gotten colder than when I initially did the recharge, and I was just feeling how cold the air was getting. The air is still very cold. So far it seems to have done its job and has restored the cold air that I was missing for a while now. As you guys can see, I have it on right now. Coolness setting there. And it is blowing nice and cool. Right now it's still pretty hot in my area in San Diego. So this has made a really nice difference. It has helped a lot because I don't know about you guys, but with my E90 it gets very hot in here, like really easily. For some reason I feel like even when it's not even like that cold outside or that hot outside, it just gets really hot in here. It could be cold outside, but then it just somehow gets pretty warm in here. In this case right now it gets very hot since it's hot outside. So this recharge I did has made a huge difference. It feels so much better to get into the car and just be driving around inside this car with now cold air. So yeah, this process seems to have worked for me so far. I mean, it's only been 2 weeks though, which isn't that long. But if any of you guys want an update like later down the road, if you guys watch this video like a few months from now or a couple years from now, feel free to comment down in the comment section and I can give you guys an update there if it's been like, you know, a few months or a couple years or whatever. And I'll let you guys know if the air is still cold or if it ended up getting warm again. So yeah, that is going to be it for this video. If you guys have any questions again about the whole process or anything, feel free to comment down below the video and I will answer your questions there. But yeah, give this a try. If your air conditioning is blowing hot or cold air, it worked for me, and this is just what my experience was with it. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful, so give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you liked what you saw. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video.